You're listening to Question Reality. Question Reality with Priscilla Leona.
Hi! Welcome to the Question Reality Radio Show. I'm Priscilla Leona, and we are coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. And I just rewrote my intro. I don't know why. I just keep writing it and rewriting it. So I have to read it, right? I have to read it. So you're going to see me looking down. Amateurish, yes, but I am not an actor, cannot memorize lines. Okay, so we're live from Los Angeles, as I just said, and our show will help provide you with entertainment industry career advice from a diverse range of professionals who work in front of, as well as behind the scenes of theater, film, radio, television, you name it. They're working. I kind of like the variety to make sure that we not only get the stars perspective, so to speak, but also I love finding out what's going on behind the scenes. And it's lovely to cast people, to book people for behind the scenes. It's wonderful because we get all the scoops. Now, if you want to know who the past guests are on the show, we have Oscar nominees, Emmy Award winners, Grammy Award winners, Tony Award winners, reality TV stars. We have actors and singers and dancers and models and musicians and writers and PR people and entertainment attorneys and you name it. We have them on the show to give you tips, advice, and resource information on how and what it takes to work in the industry. And basically the trials and tribulations. We don't want to just hear the good stuff. We want to hear the bad stuff too, because we don't want you packing up with your $50 coming out here and then you have to take the bus back, which happens to a lot of people. Now, archive pages. If you want to see any of our past shows, if there's a particular career that you're interested in, you want to go to our YouTube channel. And every week I talk about branding. Very, very important to keep it consistent. First choice would be obviously your name or your project, but keep it consistent. So to find the content, you would go to my YouTube channel at Priscilla Leona, Facebook page, Question Reality Radio Show. Yeah. You'd find me on at Priscilla Leona. And the website is the questionrealityradioshow.com. We're on LinkedIn, TikTok, X, you name it, under, of course, Priscilla Leona. And we ask you to do a little itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini favor, if you would. If you enjoy our show and our guests and you feel like the information has really helped you or will help someone you know, we ask you to please subscribe to our channel on YouTube and also follow us on Facebook if you don't mind, or at least at the very, very least give us a little like, a little thumb up for our guest, and we would appreciate that. And we will reciprocate. We have someone that goes through, and when they see new subscribers and followers, we do that as well because it's only fair. Now, booked. Do you want to be booked and come on the show? If you want to appear and promote your products or showcase your talents, whatever you want to do, and you want to come on the show, go to questionrealityradioshow.com, questionrealityradioshow.com, or you can email me directly at priscillaleona@yahoo.com, and you will be in the queue on the assembly line of life to be vetted to come on the show. How exciting is that? Very exciting. Now, as always, every week we have a wonderful guest here to give you all kinds of tips, advice, and resource information. And her name is Karina Farah. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's either Farah or Farah. We'll find out. Now, look, isn't she gorgeous? Now, let's just oh, yes, look at that beautiful skin. Oh, she's so cute. Now, Karina is a film producer, an assistant director, a creative operations manager. And if you want to check out her sites, they are darktriad.net, darktriad.net. And she's also on imdb.com under her name, of course, Karina Farah, Farah. She's on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram under the Dark Triad feature film. So that's where you can find her there. And I would highly suggest that you go there and be supportive. She's going to give you lots of tips and advice and resource information. So hopefully you can do that as well. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Karina. Karina is an arts and communication graduate. Oh, Albert, can we see the picture of the Dark Triad? I wanted to show that film poster because I thought the graphics were lovely on that. Yeah, that is her latest film project. And I love that. You see how the man, he's transparent, and there's, I think, a woman. I love that. I thought whoever did that did a fantastic job with the graphics. I'm very, very much into graphic design. So that's gorgeous. Now, again, Karina is an arts and communication graduate from CSU Long Beach, and she's been working in the entertainment industry as a film producer, assistant director, and now, along with those careers, she's also a creative operations manager. And she's done all of those positions as on feature films, short films, television, and original web series content. So she is rocking it and rolling it all over town in these positions. Now, some of her past credits include Light as a Feather, which is on Hulu, Gentefied, Macro Digital. I'm not sure what that means. That's a good question to ask her. And just many, many more. And as I said, currently she's co-producing a film called Dark Triad, which I highly suggest that you check out on her social media pages and the network, the website, darktriad.net. Not many people have a .net extension. We got to find out how that happened. But there are hardly any .coms available, right? Okay, so without further ado, let's bring that little cutie on. Welcome, Karina.
Hello.
Hey, look at you. Oh my God. I think one of the most beautiful things that a woman can have is a widow's peak. So rare, so unique, and you have a beautiful one, perfectly shaped like a heart. Did you intentionally put that heart on the wall in the background? No,
I know, that's just
it was a coincidence then, huh?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the compliment. I used to be so self-conscious.
Oh no. Oh, that is so rare. I mean, you don't see many people with a widow's peak, and still to this day no one really knows. It's like it's a mystery why some people have them, very few. Just like green eyes, not many people with green eyes. So having green eyes, you and I are in a category, a very mysterious category, right?
Love it.
Now, we have so many things to cover today, but let me just tell the audience how we know each other. Karina and I worked on a couple projects for this wonderful director. I love this woman. I love her. Her name is Linda Palmer, and I've worked on many film projects with her as associate producer and producer, as well as Karina has as well. And that's how we know each other. And Linda has since moved to North Carolina, and we're very sad about that. But hopefully one day we can go there and shoot something with her, right? And now let me ask you, how did you meet Linda Palmer?
I answered a Craigslist ad, of all things, when Craigslist was way more popular than it is today.
Yeah.
She needed help. I believe, oh goodness, what was the movie? There was a movie that she had shot, and she was working on advertising and getting things out there. And I answered the Craigslist ad and showed up at her house along with a couple other, students. I was in school at the time. And yeah, just was cold calling agencies and like just learning. I was just learning, and boy, did I learn a ton. And I mean, that started a relationship with her that I just am so grateful for. And I've told her, she completely opened a whole new world to me, and gave me a lot of opportunities that I would never have come up on my own. So
and she was very generous with her time and her information, and she really went out of her way to help people, especially people who were just starting their careers. So we were very, very lucky to latch onto a project with Miss Linda Palmer.
Yes,
Love her. And she and I share the same obsession with Halloween.
She is a Halloween head.
She is a weenie head. Yes, that's what they call them on the East Coast. Now, I wanted to ask you about one thing before we go into the promotional topics. I wanted to ask, why did you, out of all the careers, when you were a itsy bitsy teeny weeny little polka dot bikini Karina, is it Farah or Farah?
It's Farah.
Farah. Yeah. So when you were little, what was it that made you want to work in the entertainment industry? How did you know? Or maybe it wasn't when you were little.
No, it definitely was. I was obsessed with TV and movies. I was the kid kind of living in my imagination, climbing up the stairs like it was a mountain, like pretend, just in my pretend world. And when I realized that was actually a job you could do, it was always something that was kind of in my head. I actually tried to put it out of my head, make a more rational decision. And I started college with a psychology major declaration, but it took about, I don't know, a semester to change that over. And I actually studied theater first, got into that whole world, which, my goodness, I can't even explain meeting other people who loved the same things I loved and were interested in learning more. And I still have lifelong friends that I made in that theater department. And then kind of inched my way over to film from there.
That is, so I got started in theater as well. And when I was going to college in Maryland, I saw an ad very much like, well, you had Craigslist. This one was called the Baltimore Guide, I think. And I saw an ad to work behind the scenes on a play called The Heiress. Remember The Heiress? By August Wilson. And I said, oh, should I do it? No, I'm too scared. Should I do it? And I literally walked up and down the street for maybe 20 minutes. And what I didn't know was that the cast was sitting in this little park area. And the one lady said, are you going to come in and audition or not? I didn't even know. I'm like, okay. So if it wasn't for her name was Ann B. Mulligan. God bless her. I probably would have just said, no, maybe I'll try it later. But she kind of forced me in the door. And I got the theater bug. And I was oh, Karina, this is so funny. In theater, especially community theater, you have to do everything. So I was in charge of props. I was in charge of the wardrobe. I was in charge. They just kept adding and adding and adding and adding. But I loved it because it was so interesting. And I love the whole, don't say Macbeth behind the scenes and don't do this and don't do. It was very cute. Well, do you know what happened to me, Karina? Okay. So there was the lady who was the stage manager. Mm-hmm. So I got hired as the assistant stage manager, but I did all these other things. And what I didn't know was that she had something called narcolepsy. So she would fall asleep at random times. And the director said to me, oh, Priscilla, by the way, if she looks like she's falling asleep, roll this chair so that she doesn't fall. And so that was part of my job. I had to do all those other things. And then I had to make sure when she fell asleep, the chair was rolled and she'd fall in it. Well, I had to, on opening nights, I had to do props. She did it right before the open night. And Karina, I said, what am I going to do? So you know what I did? I taped her to the chair so she wouldn't fall. I literally took the masking tape and taped her because I had other things to do and I couldn't be worried about her. So I loved it though. It was fantastic. And I guess I did a good job because the next thing you know, everybody's wanting me for the stage manager. And then I went on to do the acting and then the assistant director and then the director. And oh my God, but theater, oh, you learn so much, right?
It's, yes, as you said, you do a little bit of everything. So I, in school for sure, you know, was learning things, but then I was so lucky to get a little gig at, it was called the Lost Studio Theater. It's gone now. It's a clothing store, which is so sad. But with director John Plachette, which was amazing. He would put on one show a year there. And so I did 3 plays with him as kind of the stage manager / everything else, you know, setting up the set before, you know, audiences got there, before the cast got there, opening the house for the audience as they came in. I was even making coffee, like a little bit of everything. And then I would run the lights and sound from up in the booth, you know, just me up there. But man, what an amazing experience. I would not exchange it for the world. It
really was. Great. I love theater. East Coast theater is very different than West Coast theater. Are you here? Are you from LA or California? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I learned very quickly. It's very different as far as things that they do. For example, on the East Coast, it's very common that everyone before the play, they do what's called an energy circle. Mm-hmm. So out here, when I was the assistant director for in Hermosa Beach for Heidi Chronicles, I said, oh, the director decided she was going to go audition in New York for a soap opera and left me in charge. And I'm just the assistant director. I'm like, I wonder how this, but I had seen enough. You learn, it's no problem. But then I tried to get the actors to do the energy circle, and boy, they weren't having it, Karina. They said, we do everything in the car on our way over. And I'm like, well, today you're going to be doing an energy circle in the theater. Guess what? Oh, it was a little difficult to get them on board with the East Coast way of doing theater.
Yeah, I've never done an energy circle out here.
See that? There you go. That's very common in New York, especially on Broadway, to do an energy circle. Basically, everybody stands in a circle, holds hands, and you just do affirmations and pump each other up. And I loved it myself personally. But okay, so was there a certain person whom you admired in the theater or film or the TV industry who also you aspired to be like, for example?
I mean, if we want to go way back, one of my biggest like heroes is Lucille Ball. I love her. I remember very distinctly watching I Love Lucy as a kid and just being mesmerized by her. Yeah. And then in 5th grade, we had to do a biography and so and like submit, I guess it was some sort of like report, but instead of a report, I got myself a red wig and an old dress and I did a skit in front of the class instead of writing a report about it. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, so the obsession was you know, really rooted.
Oh my God, this woman was flawless. As far, I've watched documentaries on her. I've watched behind the scenes, but I've watched everything. This woman was so flawless in everything she did. She had such a natural comedic ability and timing, and it was just innate. And there was nothing she could do that went wrong. Why did you love her so much? For the same reasons, plus maybe?
So many things. So the first thing, when I was 5, there's an episode, I don't know if you remember, there is an episode where she is pretending to be a mannequin in a fur shop, and she's got the fur coat, and she's just standing in the window, and people walking by just believed that she was a mannequin. And that blew my little brain. I was like, you can pretend to be things and people will believe you.
Wow.
That got into my head first. But then as I grew up and really learned about just the tenacity and how she got told no so many times, and just her strength, her character, and just she would not give up, and went on to create this lasting impression on the industry. She was running a studio as a woman in those days. Like, it's just absolutely inspiring. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I do.
yeah, she my God. And when she teamed up with Desi Arnaz, he too had so many talents. Not many people know this, and God, I hope I'm right about this. This is what I've always heard. He is pretty much responsible for coming up with the 3 camera on set, right? Because
Yeah,
prior to that, they would just shoot with 1 camera, multi-camera. So I
right.
was thinking about that when I was at the live taping of Frasier, because they had 3 cameras and then an X camera. So it was the A, the B, and the C, and the X camera. So it was technically 4. And I never got around to asking anyone why they had that X camera, what that was for. So that's something I'm going to be looking up. I would, but it really revolutionized the way we watched it. I mean, it completely changed everything. It was
History. It changed the business,
he
and that they retained ownership of every
yeah.
episode. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That was never a thing. Yeah.
Smart
So,
as a whip she was. And he too. Now, you, among your many skills, you have been an assistant director. Now, I don't get many assistant directors on. That's why I want to focus on that right now, because I get a lot of questions with people saying, how do you become an assistant director? And more so, what are the job responsibilities of an assistant director? And first, we have to start out by saying it depends on if it's a film or a television show, or I mean, you share the same things, but there are variations. So let's talk about, because you started out as a production assistant. Wonderful job. I wish I could find more production assistants to come on the show. But tell me about your first job, an assistant director, and what were your responsibilities?
sure. So, I did not go to film school. So, I went to theater school. So getting into film was a little bit of a challenge. And the easiest way, especially at that time, was just to volunteer as a PA, a production assistant, which is the entry level, lowest person
But
job.
that's the route to go, because you learn, oh my God, it's a college education and a master's degree all in one, being a production assistant.
1,000%. And you get to meet a lot of people. And so that's what I did. I started looking on Craigslist. That was really big. They also had Mandy.com, which was a big thing, still around. So I was just putting feelers out, like, I'll do anything. And I did. I worked for free. But in doing so, I met an incredible guy who was doing a web series. It was like all about the web series at that time.
Yeah.
And so his name was Kevin Fukunaga. And he had a pilot and he wanted to shoot it. And I was just helping out, learning as much as I could. And then one day he's like, do you want to assistant direct for me? And I was like, sure. What is it? What is that? I had no clue. And truly, we took a weekend. He sat me down with a script. He taught me how to break it down. He taught me how to schedule it out. He showed me how to make a strip board with the schedule for each day, like all of the scheduling, and then how to make a call sheet. Gave me my very first call sheet template, and the call sheet, is the schedule for the day with everybody's information and what time they're supposed to be on set and all that. And truly just handed me everything that I needed to start. I did 13 episodes of that web series with him, which was called Six Figures. It was kind of like an offshoot Friends type, you know, six friends trying to make it. And then from there, I was going out into the world saying, I can AD. Can I do it for you? And then I met Linda, and as I was working with her, she had her short, Our Father. And that was the first time that I was kind of given the reins to AD and with a full crew. And it was scary because you have to kind of command the set, and it's your schedule that everybody's running on, and you're keeping time and telling people you need to be here, you need to change your clothes, you know, it's a lot of spinning plates. It's a lot of making sure everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing so that we can shoot what we are supposed to shoot on time and finish our day.
What did you find that was different moving in from that? Because you had just done that one project as the assistant director, and then you move into working for Linda, which, by the way, people, I worked on that project too, and it stars the wonderful Michael Gross. I love him. So what did you find? Were there additional responsibilities because it was a bigger project? Because that was a web series that you went to, which is kind of different than shooting a short film, which is what, wait a minute, was Our Father a short or a feature?
Yes.
Was it a short? It was a short. Okay. So what did you find was different immediately shooting a film rather than web series?
Well, the web series was, I mean, our whole crew was 3 or 4 people. It was very small. We were just shooting in, you know, each other's apartments, and it was very, a very safe place to learn, but it was very cozy and comfortable and all that.
Right.
With Our Father, it was a level up. We had a crew of maybe 15 to 20. You know, like a full crew, and we had real gear that we rented. And so, you know, we had all these things. And then of course, Michael Gross is a recognizable person, and I'm supposed to be, you know, in charge of telling him when to go to makeup and when to come to set. We had walkie-talkies, which I had never really worked with at that point.
Right.
And bless his heart, our DP was very professional, but he would say things to me that I just did not understand.
Are you talking about PJ Gennard?
Yes.
Yes. PJ. Yes. He's
wonderful.
Very experienced. Right.
Very, very experienced and knows what he's doing. And so he would just say a bunch of things to me, and I didn't truly understand, but I was smiling and getting it going.
That's
just,
right.
You know, fake it till you make it big
right,
time.
Right.
But yeah, learning how to bend time a little bit, because at that point I was scheduling things out. And since then I've learned how to hide pockets of time in my schedule because you're going to need it. But at that point I didn't know that. So I was stressed out that we weren't hitting every mark of time that I had said was going to happen that day. And yeah, it just was a big learning curve. And I had a lot more people, like a lot more eyes on me, I think is what it felt like, because as the AD, you're the one, you know, screaming at everybody.
Yes. and tell the audience about who you as AD are in charge of. So for example, the background actors, et cetera, and what you have to do to make sure they show up, and you know, any details that.
Yeah. So the assistant director, funnily enough, it's not really on the path to being a director. It's more of kind of the shield for the director. The director has so much going on, so many decisions to make day in and day out on set. They're in charge of the creative push for everything, right? So everyone's constantly asking, do you like this shirt or that shirt? Do you like this or that? Are we doing this or are we doing that? And so the AD's job is to be kind of the point person for all the departments. and navigate what questions do we need to ask, what questions can wait, when are we going to need to know this, and when are we not. It's very much being a communicating center point for all the different positions, all the departments on set. Also, the AD creates the schedule for the day and makes sure that we're sticking to that schedule. And the way I say it, and people get it's a little, I don't know, controversial maybe. I think of it as somebody on this set has to not care about the creative, has to not really care if it's pretty. They need to just care about, are we getting everything we need so that we have a finished film at the end of this? And that's kind of the AD's job. I always joke, there was I forget what film it was. Oh, maybe it was Our Father. There was a stream of moonlight that we spent 45 minutes on, and everyone was like, oh, this moonlight and all this moonlight. I was like, we're running out of time today. And would you rather have a finished scene, or would you rather have this stream of moonlight? Of course, we negotiated, and Linda's really great. And she's like, I'll cut something else. I'll make the space. Linda's very good at that. And we got that stream of moonlight coming in the window. Yeah. But it's not my job to admire how beautiful that stream of moonlight is.
Right. You got to keep it going.
Yeah.
To keep that whip out. Well, it was interesting what you said, and I'd love for you to elaborate on that, because a lot of people do feel like being an assistant director is one step below being a director, and you pointed out very, very accurately that it is not. Can you explain to people why that is? If you're an assistant director, that does not mean your next step is going to be director. Can you explain that for people?
Sure. As I said, it's not a creative position in the way a director would be. And so it kind of falls more towards either production management or producing. It can go in those two directions, really. Right. Production management would be more on the ground control of what's happening day to day on set. And then producing, of course, is higher level, but still more of a business-minded approach to filmmaking, whereas direction is very creative.
Right. The director is more connected with the creative, but also has to bear in mind that they have to hit the mark, so to speak, to make sure that it does move in a business wise like budget, and they have to make sure that they don't shoot too long. There's so much, but yes, creative is the priority with the director.
And the AD can be a bit of a bird on the director's shoulder to let them know, hey, we're running behind now, or hey, we're not going to be able to get both of these shots. Which one? It's just that reminder in their ear of, hey, I know you're in your bubble and in your zone, but the reality is we're running out of time, or I'm seeing 3 steps ahead and we're behind, or
right.
Or you have time. If you want to grab something else, now's the time. We have time to do it. Go ahead. If you want to try something else.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very good. See, there you go. You just explained it. Now, how does one go about getting a job as a director other than the route that you took? Are there any other ways?
The assistant director position?
Yeah.
There is. Trying to remember. I believe it's the DGA has a program, which I tried to get into, and I didn't. I only tried 1 year. They say you should try 3 years. You have to submit a whole packet of information and work that you've done and why you want to AD and all these things. But they do have kind of a training program to become an AD. And they have both first and second AD programs, which are a little different. And we can also talk about.
Yes, I definitely want to touch between the first assistant director and the second. That would be lovely if you could get to that eventually.
Sure. So that is a program that's available through the DGA, and you can just go to their website and submit. As I said, they do usually don't take you the first time that you apply. You have to kind of apply a couple times because it is very popular. But it's, I mean, you can't
Isn't that a catch-22 situation though? Because they want you to show footage of your work, but if you haven't worked as a assistant director, then how do you show the footage? Like, what do you do?
I mean, you do PA work and you start getting in, in with the AD team, because there are levels: first AD, second AD, second AD, ADPAs. So you kind of just have to work your way through the rungs and hopefully meet somebody that you can learn from.
Who you know. It's who you know. It's back to that again. No, when you were a production assistant, which I think, oh my God, they hold it together. They are the spider's web, in my opinion. Can you tell aspiring people who want to work in film as a producer, one, is this the right route to try to get a job as a production assistant? And what does the production assistant do?
I think everyone should at least do one project as a production assistant. I know a lot of people want to skip ahead. I just want to direct. I just want to, write. I just want to whatever.
Wrong thing to do. Wrong thing.
Have goals, have dreams. That's lovely.
Yeah.
But the realities of what it is like on set and what everybody is doing will only help you more as you're growing. A director who has no idea how a set actually works, but has, an idea of what they want to do, is not going to be as efficient because they don't know how to use the people around them as the team that they are, So the production assistant is literally on the ground, just making things happen. Anything from picking up trash, getting coffee, stapling paperwork together.
No job too small for the production assistant. No job too big.
Exactly.
Do everything. They are vital, and you need a lot of them. The more, the better. I found. But
it truly is. It's a team. It's a team effort, and when a set is running smoothly, oh man, there's nothing like it. When everybody is one unit just making things happen, it's a beautiful thing. It's really great.
It is. And production assistants are in high demand, so I would think it would be pretty easy to get a job as a production assistant if you have friends or relatives that are shooting their first project. They need as much help as possible, so you can always just volunteer and get in there and get your feet wet.
Very, very true. That is an entry-level position, and usually, like you said, the more the merrier. It is challenging to find bigger projects, but you do one, you meet some people, you do another, and I can't tell you how many times I worked with another PA even, and they said, "Oh, I had a gig next week, but I can't make it. Can you take it?" And so I did. And then I met a whole slew of new people, that I would have never met just from another PA at the same level as I was. So you don't always have to network up. You can actually network laterally.
Yeah. That's true. And you should always take advantage of being a production assistant. Keep your eyes and ears open. Watch what happens, how the boom guy, what he does, and the gaffers and this and that, and always be watching, because there's always time for you to learn, and it's invaluable what you learned. Invaluable. I mean, don't ever think that being a production assistant is a below the dream job, because that is exactly, if you are starting out as a production assistant, you're going to learn just about everybody's job, or you should be. You should be watching and learning. Yeah. And I just value the production assistant so much. Now, let's go back to what you were talking about when you were saying there's the assistant director, and then there's the second, and then third. Tell us about those jobs.
Sure. So the first assistant director is running your set. they're right next to the director all day. They are making sure you're staying on schedule, making sure people who are up next in the next scene are getting into hair and makeup at the right time. So it's all about timing everything just right. So when I finish this scene, I can get these people into the next one. And you're just kind of getting this like conveyor belt going all day long. The second AD is behind the scenes, doing paperwork, doing the call sheets, preparing the scripts for the next day, doing all that stuff, start paperwork, which everybody's got to get paid, and you can't get paid if you don't have your paperwork in. So the second AD will handle that. And if it's a bigger production, a second AD will handle the background talent, walk them to and from set. They'll be the one that the first AD is on the walkie-talkie with, saying, hey, this person needs to be in the makeup chair now, or this person's ready, like bring them in. So they're kind of shuffling back and forth between the set and on. Yeah.
Again, very vital jobs and ones you should consider. Now, let's talk about your responsibilities. What are the responsibilities of a film producer? You've done your PA work, you've been the AD, now you're being a film producer. And what do you have to do?
Gosh, what don't you have to do, really? The producer's job is, it starts from the business part of it. Like, are we getting our business license, or the LLC situated? Are we is the script in a good spot? Are we? So you're just kind of
there's so many producers. There are, for example, when you're in a movie theater, people, and you see like 20,000 people's names, and it's like producer. You're like, why do they have people who are in the business? They don't know, why do they have so many producers? Well, producers do different things. It's not just one person in charge of the whole entire thing. That's when you move up into your executive producers, but then that's a whole different thing.
Right.
But different producers, you can be in charge of location scouting, finding the location for, there's a producer that's a production manager, right? Is the person, and finding the location. And then, as you said, making sure that the film permits are bought. Well, they are bought, most of them are bought. Sometimes they're free, but again, it just depends. Nothing's for free anymore, but film permits and locations. And so producers do all these things. It just depends on what you're assigned. So, you can't cover them all.
All of the support that you need, either from the city, financials, line producers handle the budgets. So it's just getting together all the pieces before you even start making a movie. You need all the building blocks to it. And so the producer is really in charge of gathering the building blocks. So, that's.
And so with film, there are 3 phases, probably more now, but there's pre-production, like Karina was saying. There has to be people that are in charge of finding funding, and that usually falls into executive producer or producers. I mean, if you can have your grandmother give money, you can have this one give, that falls, that there's above the line and below the line in film. So above the line refers to, I'll let you take it.
That'll be your name talent, your director, your writer, all of the kind of big guys at the top.
The executive producers, people work in the studio. And then below the line are?
The production management down to the PA is all below the line.
Yeah, so they call them that. I don't really know why. I don't really remember why they go, but that's what it's called. So if you're a producer, it just really depends on the size of the project, what you do. If it's small, like maybe Our Father or what you, then you have more responsibilities as a film producer, but they vary, that you take on more responsibilities. So it's really hard. I guess if we sum it up, what would you say if you just wanted to give it one paragraph or one
of the producer?
Yeah.
I stick to they're gathering the building blocks. Whether your building block is money, whether your building block is people, hiring people, connections, or your building block is just doing paperwork and making sure everything is handled and all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed and you don't run into problems later. Yeah. That is a building block that you're bringing so that you can come together and actually shoot something.
Yes. Now, a lot of people just think, oh, I'm going to be a producer. I want to be a producer. But if people are noticing a pattern here, I hope they're picking up that you have to be organized and you have to have certain characteristic traits and you have to have certain skills. So just because you want to be a film producer or a director doesn't mean that you actually have the personality for that. So let's talk about that. What do you feel are, just give me maybe 3 characteristic traits. For example, if you are a director, you really have to have, 1, patience, because actors can try your last nerve. So I would say, for me, I'd say patience, right? Obviously, you've got to be flexible because things change on a set from minute to minute sometimes. And maybe the third one would be, what would you say? Well, I would say a sense of organization, only because you really do need to know what's going on your set, right? You do need that. Now, what would you feel that characteristic traits different from skill?
For a producer or for
let's do producer and director. Let's do producer first.
Okay. I think for a producer, there is tenacity, because you got to bust down doors sometimes, show up places where you can mingle, or just,
and you gotta have a great personality. You can't be assertive and aggressive. You really got to be a people person
for sure. People person. So tenacity, being a people person, and knowing how to create relationships, because producing is all about relationships. And I would say the third thing would be also
problem solving.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure how to phrase it, but problem solving, or creative in a different way. It's not a visionary creation, but it is creative. Like, okay, here's a problem. How am I going to get around it? Or what else can I do to make this happen?
Yeah. So troubleshooter. Yeah.
Troubleshooter. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you got to like to do that. If that's something that's a burden and gives you so much stress that you feel like jumping off a building, that's not a job for you. So keep that in mind. That those are some things that you really got to want to do, that you like live for the thrill and the excitement of doing that, and being able to juggle multiple balls. It's very, very difficult. Yes. Now, what about a director? Obviously,
director, I think number 1 is really being good at communicating, because if you cannot express what it is you want from your actors, from your crew, it's just not going to work. Unfortunately, we need to know what you want and how to do it. So communication is number 1. I think a decidedness or a confidence in your vision and knowing what it is you want, and then an openness as well, because it is a job that you need to take in information from other people too, because you're not working in a vacuum. So know your vision and then be open to new ideas as well.
Yeah, you have to be approachable. They can't be scared of you. You can't be a tyrant. I know thinking back, what was your most challenging process that you experienced? It could be as a producer or it could have been assistant director. And how did you overcome the obstacles?
Gosh, there's a lot of challenges. I would say one of the most challenging projects I ever worked on was not because of the project itself, but kind of the people I was working with.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, you're going to go through the trenches for a project, and you want to make sure that the people you're working with are people that you can trust,
Yeah.
and really just be tired, exhausted, cranky with, and still work together and go for what you guys are doing together. And unfortunately, on this one project, that it was a music video years ago, it just was not. It was such a disjointed project, and to the point where I didn't want to show up. I showed up and I finished my job and I did it, but my gosh, it was not fun.
And who do you feel ultimately was the reason? Does that fall on, do you feel it falls on the lack of organization from the executive producer, the film producer, or just everybody involved? No one really had the organizational skills.
Yeah, I think it definitely trickles down from the top. I think the tone of a set really does, come from the people at the top, or the people running it. So in this case, I won't name names, but the production manager was just not a great person. Very rude, yelling at everybody. Just it was not an environment to create in. And it's already tough. It's a tough job. Being on set is tough. And so to have the added stress of just being scared to even say anything or ask a question, you're not going to get good product out of that. You're not going to get good things out of the people that you're working with. So
and you have to work together long hours. Like, I remember being on a set for 16 hours. I'm like, oh my God, is this legal? But that was a long time ago. They did that to you then. I think now they don't do that so much, but it still can be a long, long day.
yeah.
And you have to really enjoy the people you're working with. So make sure that you do, or else you are in for hell. Now, what do you feel? What do you feel that your biggest challenge is when you are trying to? Okay, so when you're in the position of film producer, director on projects, what personal strategy, the Karina method, do you employ for building an efficient team, like a work team, and continuing motivation as far as the relationships between the cast and crew? Do you have like a secret?
Sure. For me, in general, I mean, when I got started in this industry, it was still, this was 15 years ago. It was still very tough and very male driven.
Yeah.
And I got told a lot that I just was not tough enough. I was not strong enough, that I'm not mean enough on set. And I didn't buy into it. I decided at that time, like, I'm not that person. So if that's not going to work, then that's not going to work. And then I met a wonderful woman who was a producer and also an AD. And I watched her run a set just beautifully and caring about the people she was working with, but being stern and having, people in line when they needed to be in line. And I asked her one day, I was like, how are you doing this? And she's like, I'm Mama Bear. I'm gentle, but strong and firm. And so it was just that little bit of, just seeing it, saying it is possible. And so for me, I take care of my crews when I'm on set. That is my biggest thing. Nobody is there because to be yelled at or this is not what I want for a set. And so I'm always smiling, I'm always joking, I'm always pushing we got to get this done. We got to get this done. But I'm never going to be an angry, scary person to work with. And I actually think that's a strength. And so I stick by it.
Now, on the set, I love that you're talking about on the set etiquette. What are 3 do's and don'ts of pursuing that perfect set? Like, what do you think has to happen? For example, on the set, don't come on the set wearing strong perfume. Oh my God, you don't even know what I had. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be gossiping on the set. You don't want to be late to the set. So those are just 3. What do you feel are some do's and don'ts?
I think don't come to the problem is the set can be fun. We're making a movie, or whatever it is. And so people sometimes get carried away with the fun part of it and do the work part of it. So you're here to work. It's still a job. And so don't come here to goof off. You're here to work.
Right.
And we want to get home too. At the end of the day, it's a long day, like you said. We want to get home. So no goofing off. Like, get your job done. Have fun, smile, joke, but do your work. You're here to work. I would say definitely be courteous to each other. I know it's hard when you're learning, but there is etiquette. You do not touch things that don't belong to you. And sometimes people laugh at like, oh, it's just a chair that needs to get moved out of the way. Why do we have to call the art department to move the chair? I can just move it myself. Yes, but that's not your chair. And if you mess that chair up, it is on you. It has to belong to that department. So knowing.
Plus, there's blocking involved. It was blocked to be there for a reason. They don't know. Right. Don't think about it.
Yeah, don't touch what is not yours. So know that. And so work hard. You're here to work. Don't touch things that are not yours. And this is something that Linda will laugh at. No open-toed shoes. I don't care if we're shooting at the beach. I don't care where we're at. No open-toed shoes on set. It's a safety hazard. And Linda loves her flip-flops. So I had to.
Really? Oh my God. Yeah. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. It is a safety issue.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. Unless the scene calls for it and then they'll just shoot it. Yeah. Now, we're going to finish this up with what software or apps are a must-have as either assistant director or producer, whatever you feel you want to.
So for ADing, I use Movie Magic for scheduling. It's kind of industry standard. Everybody uses Movie Magic. I know there are other ones. There's Gorilla, also does scheduling. But at the end of the day, everyone's familiar with Movie Magic, and it really does just work so well too.
And that's for scheduling, you said?
Scheduling. So you break down your script. Even for a producer, breaking down your script to know how many days do I need to shoot this, because that's going to affect how much money I need to shoot this. So I do use Movie Magic. I will say for budgeting, there's kind of 2 types of budgeting. There's budgeting to go out and get money with. So you would use something like Movie Magic budgeting for that. And you just create a breakdown of how much it's going to cost to make this movie or TV show or whatever project. On the day-to-day, to really count your pennies and how much you're spending, I use Hot Budget, which is through Hot Bricks.
Hot Budget? I'm writing this down myself because you're giving me tips here. Hot Budget. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That I use to really put in my actuals and figure out where's my money, where is it going, what am I spending it on? And so at any point in the production, I can look at it and know exactly how much we've spent so far.
And is it pre-populated with movie things? It
does. It comes, yes, it comes with multiple pages, and they kind of talk to each other. So you'll have like crew pages, and you can put in their labor costs, and then there's equipment rental pages. So yeah, it's all kind of pre-set up for you, but it's editable, so you can change it up however you want.
Perfect. Look at that. I've
Yeah.
never even heard of hot budget or gorilla when you were saying that. Obviously, movie magic, but I'm like, what? I'm hearing new things. This is wonderful. Lovely. Oh, that's fantastic. You have given so many tips. Now, here's what I'd like to do before we finish off with the promotional topics. I want to show the videos of one of the films that we talked about, Our Father. Karina and I worked on that one together. And then the other one, the first one, what was it called? Oh, geez. Hold on.
I think I sent in Dog Wick because it's one of my favorite
Wick
that I ever worked on.
Yes, Dog Wick. I love that title. So why don't you tell us what Dog Wick it was about?
Sure. So I worked for an amazing company called Rocket Jump years ago. And Freddie Wong was the creator and owner of that company. And they would make these spoof videos and projects and just super fun. So Dog Wick was a fake trailer for a John Wick type movie, but based on his dog Wick.
Oh,
so,
cute.
Yeah, if you know the movie John Wick,
you killed my dog.
Right. Well, that's what Dog Wick is doing.
Okay. And for those who don't know about Our Father, just a brief.
Sure. Our Father is a beautifully heartbreaking story based on true events that Linda Palmer wrote and directed about an ailing father dealing with Alzheimer's and him sharing a secret that he had held his whole life and how that affects the family. Yeah.
It was so good. Michael just gave me chills doing that. Love
it's
that.
Beautiful.
Michael Gross. Love him. Okay. He gave me, should I say it? He gave me tremors. Oh, that's so tacky. He's going to get a kick out of that. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to watch. What did you do on Dog Wick? What?
I was a production manager on that one.
Okay, production manager. And on Our Father?
I was first AD.
First AD. So let's see Karina in action. Whatever one you want to play first, Albert. Let's do it.
Daisy. Do you have any idea who it was you killed? Idiot! You killed John Wick's dog's human. And that human was John Wick. I want this dog dead!
No law in here says dog can't shoot people.
Thanks to Lionsgate and John Wick 2 for sponsoring this video. John Wick 2 comes out in theaters this Friday. We have a link in the description to buy tickets if you want to get on that. We got to see an early cut of it, and let me just say, if you like Keanu Reeves shooting people, then boy oh boy is this movie for you.
It's gonna be a good time.
Check it out.
I told you, I don't need a shower. You do. I don't. I don't need you. You can't get to me anymore.
What's the problem now?
Who are you?
Jared, your son.
I don't have a son.
John, stop! Danny!
I don't know you.
It's too busy.
You hate me.
I don't know what to believe.
you do, Amy.
I don't respect you.
Then why haven't you shitting on your life?
Everything okay?
You're not gonna believe what he just told me.
Help me! Help me, somebody! Please! Help! Please!
Wow, I completely forgot my girlfriend, Eileen Gruba, was in there. Oh my God. I forgot Eileen was there. Oh my God, I love that. Oh,
Beautiful.
I swear to God, that dog wick, I was laughing so hard over here. That was such a cute concept, and it was so funny, and it was executed very well. I
Yeah.
mean, that could have gone very wrong, but it was directed very well. And I mean, that poor dog, I hope he didn't mind having to do all those action scenes.
Oh my gosh, I could tell you stories, behind the scenes
I
stories.
love that. That was a cute production. You should feel very proud to have worked on both of them. Very
Yes,
great.
yes, they
Now-
were both really amazing to work
Now
on.
tell me, you are currently working on Dark Triad,
Yes.
darktriad.net. So
Yes.
tell me all about this. Did you write it? Are you producing it? What
No.
exactly are you involved?
So my co-producer, Robert Bird, wrote this script. And I've worked with Robert for, gosh, so many years. He also worked with at Rocket Jump with me way back in the day. And yeah, we just worked very well together and have kept in contact over the years. And he wrote this script and sent it over to me. And it really kind of hit a chord with me. It was different, but definitely different. And
What's it about? What's the movie about?
okay, so let me get this log line right.
All right.
So it's a brother and sister hitman team, and they are sent on a journey to go kill an informant or a snitch. And the entire movie, for the most part, takes place in the car as they're driving to this hit. And as that journey continues, we're not totally sure if there is a hit that they're supposed to do or if they're actually aiming at each other. And so paranoia starts coming in, and it's kind of like this spy versus spy type feeling. It is pretty intense at moments, but I loved the intensity of this brother and sister relationship, which is very rare. We don't get too many movies about that. And in that way, the female lead gets to be all kinds of these things and doesn't have to fit into this like, romantic potential, or it's none of that is in that movie. And so that's why I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is very different. I hope I didn't butcher that.
No. And well, I'm glad that you and I share the same love of, I'm so tired of people, just the rom-coms are out of control. I'm sick of rom-coms, even though I'm a Hallmark Channel fanatic, but just for Christmas movies. But yeah, I want to see women in other roles other than the rom-com.
Yeah, and to play off of, and that's what I love. It's these two people with a history, and they get to play off of each other, and we get to discover little by little the secrets that they've been hiding from each other this whole time, kind of how their lives have drifted in different directions, and really question like loyalty and love versus what's best for you. So there's a lot of layers
there. I was just looking this up because when I was doing my research and I typed in Dark Triad, I said, why do I know? What is it about those two words that I know means something, and it's something sinister and psychological? Is that why he wrote that? Do you know the definition of the Dark Triad? And tell us.
Yes, the Dark Triad is 3 characteristics that come together to create a truly dangerous person, and that is narcissism, Machiavellian tendencies and narcissism. Wait, narcissism?
We
Oh
said
goodness,
what? Yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
psychopathy. Psychopathy,
oh.
narcissism, and Machiavellian
Now,
tendencies.
isn't this interesting? It says the most frequently exhibited dark triad behaviors include self-centeredness, low empathy, exploitation of others, and lack of remorse or regret.
Yep.
I know a lot of people like that.
Hopefully you're not trapped in a car. Hopefully you're not trapped in a car with them on the way to kill
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so it's a brother and sister, and together they have all of these qualities.
So they're having a conversation on their way to, as you said, what, kill someone? Or
yeah, they're hitmen. That's their job. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I love it. I am so sad that we don't have a trailer for that, but it's coming out, as you said, on your website, darktriad.net, July 4th. Is that when you're going to have the trailer?
Yes, we were very excited. We were able to shoot a little bit. We have a scene in there, and it came out really well. The whole film, I have to give it up to Robert. As you mentioned, the poster is just beautiful. His aesthetic and his vision is so clear, and he's just so freaking good at it. So
did he do the poster as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And you mentioned you love all of that graphic art. If you go to our website, there's an entire page just full of the artwork that he's been
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to go there. Darktriad.net. Now, why .net instead of .com? It wasn't available, was it? Everybody's got the good .coms. You gotta go .net.
And we wanted to keep it short. So darktriad.net, I think it works great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little like different and like, ooh, what's on .net? Is that
now people are like .net? Is that still around? But you know, it's good to do a .net. So it's coming out July 4th. So you will be having it obviously on your website. Are you going to be putting it on all your social media sites too? Now
yes, we'll have a big event for it to drop at.
Are you? Yeah. Are you having like a
just online? Yeah.
So how long is it? Is it a sizzle reel or?
Yeah, it's I think a couple of minutes. It's a scene from the movie that we shot and some just visuals to kind of give a feel of what the movie will look like. It is going to be in black and white. And yeah, it's
I still love black and white headshots, so I'm all about the black and white. Yeah.
Yes, it really lends itself to this storytelling and kind of stripping it down to its like bare minimum and just really focusing.
So Robert Baird was the screenwriter as well?
Yes, Robert Bird is the screenwriter, and he will be directing it, and we're co-producing it together. And as I said earlier, you know, when naming what is important in a director, he really embodies all that. He knows this movie, he knows the vision so well, but is definitely cooperative and open to ideas, which is why I really love working with him.
Now, this is a perfect opportunity for you to tell the audience what is it that you're doing as co-producer, because we didn't talk about the co-producer role.
So we together wrote a whole synopsis and log line, and we did online crowdfunding through Indiegogo and got a little bit of money, made the sizzle reel, and now I am setting up our company, our LLC, so that we can start, you know, spending that money through a company. And from there, we will be hiring crew, putting together a schedule. We've done a budget already that we built together. Well, you know, he also did production management, so we're kind of a team on that. So yes, budgeting, breaking down that script, figuring out how many days it'll actually take us to shoot it. And then we've been doing some location scouting, and yeah, just bringing all those puzzle pieces together. We are looking for funding right now. So we are entering some contests, putting the screenplay into some screenplay contests. And then we'll do another crowdfunding round after that. So
do you prefer Indiegogo? Because a lot of people in the entertainment are using that website Seed and Spark. Is that because that is like supposed to be 100? I've never used it, but supposed to be 100% geared towards raising money for just things that are film related, film or have you heard of Seed and Spark?
I've heard of them. I've never used them myself, but I will to look into
Check
it.
them out and let me know.
Yeah.
Because somebody recently asked me, she's going to be producing a movie, and she said that she had a very hard, I wanted to get your opinion on this. She had a very hard time with Indiegogo. They actually, half of the movie was funded through Indiegogo, and then all of a sudden she got contacted by them and said that they were no longer allowing her to accept money, and they were going to freeze the account because she supposedly was not supposed to add donation perks. Everybody knows that one of the reasons that independent films get made is from family and friends giving money for donation perks. And if people don't know what that is, that could be a signed poster from the actor, or it could be a hat, or whatever it is that the producers decide is a donation perk for a certain amount of money. But Indiegogo had frozen the money, and right now she is having to deal with the situation of getting that unfrozen. And then she was asking me, do I know another site? And everybody goes through Seed and Spark, so I recommended that one. So I was just wondering. But have you ever heard of that, where Indiegogo is no longer allowing donation perks on their?
No, I mean, we had perks on ours, and we ran a campaign, and we were able to get the funding that we made on that campaign. Fine. Maybe it was a problem with the actual perk that she was posting, because we did the same thing. You get a signed script, or you get a t-shirt or whatever. Yeah, we did all that same stuff, and it was fine.
I'm going to dig deeper into that, because I that's the first time I've ever heard of them freezing the money because of the donation perks. I want to know what she was offering. And unfortunately, I didn't go there before they took it down, so I don't know what it was. But that's something good to know of what you shouldn't put on there, because you don't want your money to be frozen and the site to be taken down. So if you find that out, let me know.
Yeah, because there are different levels. You know, people can donate $5, people can donate $1,000. So there's definitely tiers that you need to cover. So I'm not sure, but I'll definitely look into Seed and Spark as well. That might be a good option for us.
Now, what are some things that you're offering for your because I want to help you get money, obviously. What are some things that you're offering for the movie that might interest people to want to donate?
Sure. Well, when we start our next round, we'll be offering a lot of the same things. You know, the lower tier ones are going to be a signed script, original artwork, print, which also, they're so beautiful. Please go to the website and check out all the amazing artwork that we have going, all the way up to being an associate producer on the movie. If people are interested in gathering.
And what's the donation perk for that? How much would that be?
We'll have to look at it again. I believe it was in the $1,000 range. But again, we're going to be doing a second round, so things may shift a bit.
So they should look for that when, so they can.
After we drop the sizzle reel in July, I believe the next round will start in August.
Okay. And how are you getting out your whatever site you decide to go on? How are you doing it via social media? Like, hey, go.
Yes. So we have Dark Triad, which I think I gave you all the links that we can maybe post on this. So Dark Triad is on Instagram. We are on Facebook. And we have our website, which we'd love to have people kind of drive towards that. There's also a donation button there if anybody feels
on
so
the website. What about YouTube? Do you have it on a channel? Do you have a channel on YouTube or?
Not yet. However, once the sizzle reel goes up and we can start posting some of our stuff, we will get on YouTube as well.
Okay. Yeah, get some subscribers on YouTube.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, let me know. Remind
exciting.
me, and I will make sure I do it in a promotion because we want to get you some cashola.
Thank you. I would appreciate it. Yeah,
wanna...
you guys, this will be really from the ground. Like we are just getting going and starting all this. So definitely getting in on the ground with everybody that was lovely and wonderful. And
has this gentleman, Robert Bird, has he been in film festivals, won awards, or any kind of laurels and accolades you can give him so we can say, hey, we're not just giving you money, you actually have earned it by winning film festivals or something like that?
Yes. So Robert has been in the industry for a long time. He worked as a personal assistant to an actor. And so he was able to kind of see the behind the scenes of how things were working, but ultimately decided he wanted to be in the game, you know? And so when I met him, he was doing, PA work and production management. And now he works for New Context, which is a commercial production company, and they do huge events like for Adidas and the Kardashians and all of these. Like I think they just did an award show. Goodness, I'm blanking on, was it the Emmys recently? Yeah, so he does big events, like huge events, and he is just a magic person on the ground. He knows how to run a set. He knows how to do the numbers. He knows how to do all that stuff. He has produced a couple of films on his own and gotten them distributed and on sale. Vlogworthy was one that I believe was sold, and you can find it and watch it. And yeah, so he's had a lot of experience on kind of the back end. This is going to be his first like big creative endeavor, and I'm so excited because it has been something that he's been building towards for years, and I'm really happy to be.
So if we go on to imdb.com, is he on there? Okay,
yep.
We can look at his projects there.
Yep.
And is this Dark Triad, is this a short or a feature?
This will be a feature.
A feature. Okay. Perfect. Yes. Now, let's end this show with talking about these promotional topics. I'm going to promote you. I love what you said about finding your tribe, working with people that get you and creating a network. Now, I am so glad that you said that because so many people say, oh my God, Ron Howard, he works in a clique and it's the same people over and over. Well, you know what? My thought is if you find people that you get along well with, you get the project done, it's successful, why are you not going to work with them again? Why are you going to take a risk? That's just the way I think. So I love how can you elaborate on that so you can explain?
So as I said before, this industry is all about relationships, and having the right team makes it worth it. It is not easy to do this. You are in the trenches with these people. You are exhausted. You are pushing yourself, beyond what you even think you can do. And having people that you can rely on, that you can trust, and who are just as dedicated as you are, really, you cannot do this without the right people. And this industry, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that you cannot trust. And so I always say, listen to your gut and be discerning on who you're working with. Sometimes a project just is not worth it. If it's the wrong people or something just feels off about it, it's not worth it.
And I always say that because there are so many people in this business that the only thing they're concerned about is getting their credit on IMDb. So they go and they borrow money from their family and friends and all these people, and they get the project made, and then it sits on the shelf. They don't enter it in film festivals. They don't get distribution, nothing. So all of the cast and crew who work so hard, yeah, they may or may not get a credit on IMDb, but what's the point in having it on IMDb if you're not going to try really hard to do something with it? That's
Right.
where Linda Palmer, oh my God, that woman, I always said to her, she could get blood out of a stone. She used every single venue, everything to get, she would get the most out of every film she ever did. I mean, she worked so hard. And I see so many people, Karina, that just get that credit and they don't even bother entering. You know what? They didn't even factor in, oh, I need money to enter it in film festivals. Oh, that wasn't in my budget, because they just wanted credit. Oh boy, that's a big pet peeve. So I'm so glad that you said that. And so when you find people that you can work with and that actually have the same goals, stick with them.
Yes.
Tribe.
And one more thing that I just wanted to emphasize, I said before, it's not just networking up, networking laterally, people on your level and coming up together. Almost everyone that I have worked with has brought me to bigger and better things, even though we were both on the same level or all working to, rise up together. You're stronger together.
That's right. And like my grandmother used to say, always be nice to people on your way up, because you're going to run into the same people on your way down. So
100%. Yes.
Be careful about that. Now, you said that taking acting classes, this is so, every single one of your points, I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what I do. Okay. How taking acting classes has helped you in other areas of life in this entertainment industry. Tell us about that.
I think every single person should take an acting class. Just take an acting class. I think it opens you up in a way that nothing else, like public speaking classes. No, it's not the same.
No.
Something about having to inhabit a character and just stand in front of people and own your space. And it just teaches you to really open up a vulnerable part of yourself. And that has helped me in interviews. That has helped me, talking to, the banker at the bank. It helps, it just helps you talking to anybody, making deals as a producer, having to like chit chat with somebody or ask for, hey, can I get a discount on this?
Right.
It just helps you kind of open up, and gosh, it teaches you so much about yourself through the guise of like looking into a character.
Yeah. So it definitely enhances your social skills and your etiquette. It teaches you about etiquette on set if you get a good teacher. And do you know, Karina, that it is now a requirement that you take an acting class when you are going to law school?
Amen.
Hallelujah. I don't know why they weren't doing this like hundreds of years ago, because it's so important. If you're going to try to save your damn criminal ass defendant, you better sell it, and you better know how to sell it, and you better be able to relate to people. So yeah, it is very important, and it teaches you a lot about yourself psychologically. It helps you break down barriers. Also, at the very least, Karina, you're in an acting class and you get to meet other people, so it's a social event too.
Yes, there was a funny thing that happened, because so we were in the theater department, the theater majors, and then next door was the film department, and they never really crossed lines. And I took a film symposium class, and I heard the film students talking about, those theater people are so odd, and I don't know how to talk to them. And I was like, you guys, we're not aliens. We do need to work together. And I think, really crisscrossing the two worlds, it would just help both sides understand what the other is doing and work together better.
It's crazy. Why? I have always heard that as well. Theater people look down on film people. Film people look down on theater people. And it's all the same. It's acting. It's acting. It's directing. It's producing. With some slight differences, you're all the same people. So,
yeah, I think understanding each other in general is never a bad thing.
yeah. And if your background is in theater, you can always bring it down. But it is very hard if you have a background in film to bring it up, right?
Yes.
You know, volume, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, so they should. I cannot even believe that a film person doesn't at least do one play in their lifetime. They're missing so much.
It's life-changing.
It is. I mean, and instant energy, that self-gratification to be able to get the applause of the audience if you're an actor, to get the instant satisfaction rather than waiting for you to do the same scene a million times and waiting for it to come on film. And do theater once. It'll change your life, right? Do it once. Do you know that I was cast as a this is because I, like you, believe in following steps. So I said, okay, well, my eventual goal is to become a producer. So I am going to start as a background actor. I'm going to do the production assisting. I'm going to do the casting. I'm going to do it all. Well, I got cast in. I didn't even go there to get cast. I just wanted to see what it was like because it was an audition for a supernumerary in opera called Der Rosenkavalier at the LA Opera. And there were 150 people that were auditioning for this one role as the widower. And I got cast. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm looking around going, oh, I like that costume. Oh, yeah. I'm observing for experience. And I got cast as the damn supernumerary out of 150 people. Boy, that was an experience. Work. And then opera is a whole different beast, right? So,
I can't even imagine. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was it. And for people who don't know, a supernumerary does not sing. They're like a background actor, right? I didn't have to sing, thank God, because I can't do it. Now, you say keeping the creative juices flowing, creating for yourself, and being inspired by others' work. Tell us what you mean.
I mean, just as I said, we all start as consumers of art. You have to be exposed to it, and then it starts, getting into your head, and you start thinking. But yeah, sometimes I'll watch a movie or go see a play, or even just going to a museum or something, and you just start thinking. You're like, oh, that resonated with something, or if it was me. I love doing this too, where you see something bad and you're like, oh, if it was me doing it, I would do it like this, or I would I think that's healthy. I think it's great to kind of think about how you want to do it, or how you would do it, and then from there taking the steps of like, okay, maybe I'll write a script, or maybe start talking to people about it and see what other people think. And
right,
that's how it grows. But I think it's important to be a consumer as well as a creator.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, I don't know how my husband hates watching things with me because I'll see something and then of course I have to editorialize everything. Well, why did you see that the Band-Aid was on and now the Band-Aid's off? And if he died, his stomach would be swollen up after being there 5 days, not flat as a board. And I'm like picking it to hell. And by the time I'm finished, my husband has fallen asleep. And I have just critiqued the whole entire movie, right? But it's important for you to like watch and realize that you're seeing things that the script supervisor missed, or the director missed, or that you if you don't notice them, then you shouldn't be aspiring to be a director or a script supervisor. So that's just my thing.
I love pausing the movie and being like, okay.
Me too. Oh my God. That's what I do. I pause it and I give a whole commentary, whether he wants it or not.
Yeah.
And he says, can't we just watch the movie? I'm like, no.
In a minute.
Missing out on the whole thing. Yeah, it's great. We got to watch a movie together one time.
Yeah.
we'd get like through 5 minutes of it, and then that's it. Everybody'd be sleeping. Now you said, I want to talk about your idea of mental, emotional health being in a vulnerable, tough industry. Tell us what you know.
I mean, this is a tough industry. It's only gotten tougher after COVID. We've had the strikes going on, the SAG AFTRA going on strike, and then now IATSE might be going on strike. And
who might be going on strike? Did you say?
IATSE, it's the union for the crew. Most of the crew
okay.
IATSE. And that's tough. It's tough. People have been out of work for a long time. COVID obviously took a big hit. And then now the strikes. And so this industry is evolving. AI is coming.
Yes, that's it. Oh, we were talking about that last week. I mean, my husband watched a film. I can't remember the name of it, but it was, it's mind blowing. And I have some friends which are on the board of a huge major studio. And they said, Priscilla, the actors, they don't know what is coming because AI is here, and it's only going to get, we're only going to inject more AI. There's going to be, because right now they can create a whole, it used to be composers that created music, theme music, epic theme music for the whole film. Now they just type in what they want. The AI can pump it out like in seconds. The actors, oh my God, you saw what movie was it with, was it Star Wars? What they did to Princess Leia? I said, wait a minute, is that her? It looked so much like her, and it's getting better every time. So a lot of people are projecting that AI, watching movies via AI characters, are going to be a norm thing. They look so real, Karina.
I just saw, usually, in the past, like, oh, I can tell that's AI. Oh, I can tell that's AI. Just yesterday, I saw a video of Leonardo DiCaprio speaking in an interview, but it was all in Spanish, and it sounded just like him. And he doesn't speak Spanish, but like his mouth was moving with the words. It wasn't dubbed. It was AI, and it got me. I was so surprised. It really got me. And that's scary. That's scary that they can do that.
Yeah, it's coming. It is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we're seeing it more and more in the animation films. These characters, they look like real people. And from speaking with people who have this under secret wraps, but it's getting out about how they're going to be replacing actors in the future, 50 years. Maybe movies, 100 years.
It's been a few years now, but I believe the talent agency CAA has an artificial actress that they represent.
What?
Yeah, I read an article about it, that they have a person, or I don't know, an artificial person. She has a name, she has headshots, like she's a client of theirs, but she's not real.
Yeah, I would have thought that during the strikes, they only covered a small portion of what they can and can't do with AI characters in the future, but they're going to have to renegotiate that because it's just not going to hold anymore. And people you won't have to have the $150 million budgets that you have. I mean, you could do it for, God, I don't even know how much money, but maybe tens of thousands, whereas normally it would be $150 million budget. And I don't know what the poor actors are going to do, but it's scary. It's scary. Yeah. And that goes the same for music too. I really wish my husband had that. I wanted you to listen to, we heard a song. My friend, Michael Orland, he was the musical director on American Idol for 16 years. And I wanted to play him, and Albert didn't have it, but it was an AI that could sing and play all the instruments for a rock song and then a country song, you didn't even know it wasn't a band. It sounded, Karina, just like a rock band. It sounded just like a country band. But the only thing is that the AI was saying, I don't remember verbatim, but he was saying, I'm not a human, I'm an AI. What do you think of me? And it sounded just like you were listening to Mick Jagger or one of the old 70s
So
bands.
crazy.
It is coming. It's coming. You guys we have a couple more years, but what are you going to do?
Well, yeah. And that's why, I mean, the difficulties of this industry span that stuff, and also just rejection or things not going your way, or, so much. It does take its toll. This is a tough industry. It really is. And especially during COVID, I really kind of delved into taking time for mental health, for emotional health, for checking in on people that I've worked with, and maintaining friendships as well, not just business. People get a little like too businessy, but like we're people. That's one thing that I'm very, very lucky that I've met some incredible people, and we do. It is a community, and you can come together with your little community, and it's tough. It's tough. So I just like to emphasize that there's outside of the business, these are people, and that we all need that support sometimes.
We do. Now, lastly, it says you've been working in branded media as an associate producer with Group 9 Media, and also as creative operations manager with Vox Media. What exactly do you do as a creative operations manager?
So yeah, that was a weird offshoot that I got into. So COVID happened, and the industry shut down, and I didn't work for about 8 months. And what I mean by, having your network, I had a wonderful, amazing person. She is just an incredible creative director. Her name is Michelle Kinney. And I had worked with her on a couple of projects, very small, a couple day shoots here and there. But she remembered me. And about 8 months into COVID, she reached out and asked if I needed work, that they were hiring at this media company that she was working at. And of course I said, yeah, no, I definitely need to work. And basically I was an associate producer there. So I worked with a producer, basically being their coordinator. They shoot branded videos. So basically a brand will come to us and we'll create a video. So for example, a tortilla company will come to us and we'll create recipe videos using their tortillas, or a drink company will come to us and we'll make little videos based on their drinks or whatever the product is. So it's branded.
For commercial use or to be used somewhere else?
Mostly for online use.
I'm trying to think where I would have seen that. So are you talking about, so for example, YouTube, before you get to see your content, there's always a little commercial for something. So that's what you mean?
Yeah, some of those. We also have our own websites. The company owns their own websites that will put those videos on, and then those companies will also put it on their own websites. We do a lot of Instagram ads and TikTok ads, all of that stuff.
So it goes full, like you're casting everything.
So we're all in-house. So we have a full video production. We do photo as well, like still photos. We do audio, like podcasting. So we do a little bit of everything. And so now I'm in creative operations, which is all those different teams need to be able to communicate with each other. And so I'm part of the team that helps make sure everybody is getting the information they need. I'll do all the onboarding for the crew. I'll do all the time cards and payments for our crews. And then just, basically being kind of this like bridge between all the different departments that one project has to go through, from pre-production all the way through post.
So you have to use that software you were telling me about earlier, right?
Sometimes, well, we use our own internal one, but for that hot budget, I do recommend it. And I've told my company, like, hey, we should follow what hot budget does. Yeah,
that sounds like a great job. Oh my God, that sounds like a dream job.
It's been wonderful. God. Yeah, it's been really great, and I've met some amazing people through this job. It's a little different than film production. It's more advertising and media, but the basic foundation is there. We're making video. Yeah.
It sounds very interesting because I used to be in media. I used to work at a company called Focus Media and Western International Media. So basically my job was to buy time, air, and space.
Wow.
For print magazines. So for example, one of our clients was Sears. I want to put my fall collection in your magazine. Okay, if you're a buyer, you figure out, is it a national, a regional ad? And then we had to figure out, so it was similar, but and then we shoot the commercials and stuff. So I did not recognize it though as creative operations manager. So because I worked at the media company, but it's kind of the same thing, advertisement and media. Oh man, I got to get back into that. That's what I'm going to get a day job, creative operations manager.
There you go.
I love that. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much, Karina, for coming on the show. You have just given such sage advice. People probably their pen is dry from taking all the notes. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And when Dark Triad comes out, let me know. We're going to promote it.
Yes. Well, definitely July 4th, we'll be dropping the sizzle reel. So
sizzle.
Kind of like Independence Day, the movie, we're dropping
it. Oh yeah, send me the sizzle reel and then I'll play it in between as maybe a little advertisement for Dark Triad.
Oh yes, I love it.
Yeah, and let me know when the site comes up for the donations and I'll promote that so we can get you some money over there.
Thank you. Right? Thank you. Yes, so excited. It's gonna be a cool project.
Oh, I wish is it on IMDb yet so we can see who the actors are?
Not yet. No, we're still building.
That's your job.
That is my job. We're gonna work on that.
Get those credits on IMDb, right?
We're getting it up. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Karina, for coming on. Everybody check out the website, darktriad.net, and follow Karina Farah on imdb.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram at Dark Triad Feature Film. Thank you, sweetie, and I can't wait to see you and talk to you again, and maybe we'll work on a project.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Come on over. Let's do it.
Bye.
Thank
you. You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona.